So let's look at the economy next year and forecast forward. We just had a Christmas fourth quarter. Our fourth quarter growth numbers are not out yet, but if you look at the retail numbers for the fourth quarter, I don't anticipate some kind of fourth quarter Christmas season boon. Those projections were something like 850% below. Or I'm sorry, the actuals were like 857 or 850% below what they were projecting. We've got news today that this is the largest single week of unemployment claims since back in October. So, I mean, this doesn't seem to be, the slowdown doesn't seem to be slowing down here. So what happens in these next couple of months? What do you think they're going to try to do, Congressman?
Oh, they're between a rock and a hard place. They either have to keep the fear porn going so that they can try to get mail-in ballots in all 50 states for these midterms. Now, a lot of states have said they won't do it, but the Democrats obviously do better when you do the mail-in ballots. And so if they double down on the fear porn, they can get that, but they're hurting in the polls. They're killing this economy. What's happening right now is a result not just of what occurred in Washington, D.C. 6 months ago, but what's occurred over the last 2 years. I don't think they can turn it around. American citizens, like everyday people, even people who don't vote, are in the dollar store complaining about the prices and saying, well, this is because the government put too much money in the economy. Like, there are people who understand economics, and they didn't go to, they don't have PhDs in economics, but they're seeing through what happened. So the Democrats, they may try to put the economy on one last sugar high before the election. There has been discussion in the House that we will be voting on another COVID package at some point. And I would presume it'd be on the order of $2 trillion. That's just an ante these days. If it's not $2 trillion, you don't care, according to them. So they may try to do that just to get past the midterms, but that will kill us in this country.
Final question, and it may be difficult for you to answer, and I respect it if it is, but I think this is something our audience would definitely want to know, Congressman. Among your Democratic colleagues, how many of them are politicians, in that a lot of the most divisive things we see are talking points? It's a narrative in order to please a constituency and in order to maintain power. And then how many of them really believe in that sort of what I call like spirit of the age kind of stuff? And I guess it's almost kind of sad that in a way I'm hoping that it's the more cynical answer now. Okay. But can you answer that for us? What would you estimate?
There was one that I could name who wasn't just a pure politician. That was Tulsi Gabbard, and she's no longer in Congress. Look, I have decided to quit blaming my colleagues, my Democrat colleagues. I'm a little bit like, who did you quote, Paul Begala? I'm a little bit like him right now. I blame the people that voted for him. I mean, they are responding to the people who voted for them. In a Democratic primary, there are a lot of these people who only got maybe 20,000 votes, and they won their Democratic primary, and now they represent 750,000 people. Now, the same thing happens on the right in terms of votes, but that's who the left has been catering to the detriment of this country. And yeah, they're politicians. They're responding to what their constituents want. There is one exception. With respect to immigration, they are willing to destroy this country, to overrun our hospitals, to overrun our schools.
Import terrorists that called synagogues hostage. Yeah.
Bring in murderers. They are willing to do that to gain more power. And I don't think it's necessarily their base who's telling them to do that. They understand, or they believe, that the more illegal immigrants that they can get in here, and then if they can turn them into voters, then that will be the coup de grace, and they will have much more power. And they're willing to destroy this country for it. So that's one exception to them responding to their base.
Congressman Thomas Massie from Kentucky. Stay well, brother. Good to have you back on the show. We'll do it again soon. All right, take care.
Thanks for having me on, Steve.
You bet.